The majority of the Irish came to Canada in the 1850s. Fleeing the desperate situation in Ireland where the main food source, the potato crop, failed for several years. This situation, mixed with overpopulation, politics, landlord greed and England's apathy, caused both Catholic and Protestant Irish to sell up what they had, to buy tickets on board ships to search for a new life around the globe. Unfortunately, the people were carrying a disease, typhus. In June every year there is a commemorative walk to the Black Rock, a monument to the 6,000 buried bodies of the people who died from typhus during that time.
I mean, I didn't even know, I knew the history generally speaking. I knew the rock was there. I knew it sat on top of about 6,000 graves, but that was it. But the more and more I got into it, the more interesting it gets. It really is tremendously interesting.
As most of you are aware, what our project involves is working with the City of Montreal to take all this desolate space that you see around you and turn it into a cultural green space. We have a number of reasons or things that we would like to honor with this green space, including, of course, the 6,000 Irish or more that died in 1847 and were buried here, right here. Some of you are probably standing on some of the grave sites. There's certainly bodies buried underneath the stone. The second group that we want to really honor are the Montrealers who went to help these Irish. For example, there was John Mills, who was the mayor of Montreal in 1847. John Mills was not Irish, John Mills was not Catholic, but he went and literally gave up his life helping the Irish, along with the Grey Nuns, the Anglican clergy, the Catholic clergy, British soldiers who were here in Lower Canada at the time. So we want to honor that group. More than 1,000 orphans were adopted by French-speaking families here in Montreal. If the children were young enough, if the children were so young they didn't know their names, many of them adopted the names of their French-speaking family. Others maintained their Irish family name, but have a preference or their first language is French. But it was I can't explain to you how dangerous it was for these French-speaking families to bring these Irish orphans into their homes. I mean, there was a very good chance that any of these young people were bringing typhus into the house, the same typhus that killed the 6,000 plus Irish here and killed some of the people in Griffintown who went to help them. So that's another group that we want to honor. Before the Europeans arrived, the First Nations used this area as a hunting and meeting ground, a very important hunting and meeting ground, where they mainly hunted geese, which is why right behind you over there was a village called, a small community called Victoriatown that most of you know as Goose Village. So there's many, many people and groups that we want to honor. This is a very, very important historical site. We have met with Mayor Coder, who has told us that he absolutely supports this project and will do whatever he can to make it happen. And I really, really appreciate all of you coming out, first of all, to honor our 6,000 ancestors that died on this spot and to support this park project. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Curtis. As most of you know who attend this year after year, we like to give the honor of the laying of the wreath to the students of St. Gabriel's School.
Well, actually, I was approached by Victor Boyle to see if I would be involved with this project. But there is a very sad story where a widow, French-speaking widow, 6 children, brought an Irish orphan into her home who had typhus. She nursed him back to health, but she caught it herself and passed away. So in reality, this widow with 6 kids now had 7 orphans, all over Montreal. So it was really sad. So there were a group of them that wanted to take sheds and push them into the St. Lawrence. So John Mills took it upon himself to protect them and actually put up British pickets around the area. And some of the British soldiers, when they were finished guarding, would go and help the sick. And A couple of them also caught typhus and passed away. The stench, because in 1847 it was what they called the Calcutta summer, one of the hottest summers on record in Montreal. The stench apparently was so bad that at the highest part of the mountain of Westmount you could smell the death. So you can imagine, and 6,000 people, you can imagine even in Montreal today, in our day and age, if 6,000 people suddenly died in one summer, could we even handle it? I mean, with all our modern technology. So it seems to be almost, if not all, the greatest majority were Irish immigrants coming from the Great Hunger. The records are scattered everywhere. The Grey Nuns are the best record keepers, and they did pretty good with some of the orphans. Not all of them, but pretty good with some of the orphans. So they have a name of an orphan and a family that adopted them, which in many, many cases was Francophone.